You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to talk about the reindeer games that Tucker McCall is playing with the women in his life. I love me some Trevor St. but his character is just a tricky trickster of a man, and I wonder if he's trying to turn Audra Charles into his new Ashley Abbott. Is Tucker about to up his gaslighting game on Young and the Restless? And hey, click subscribe if you haven't already. And now let's dig into all this. So it definitely seems like Tucker and Ashley are done. Not just done, but done and dusted. The divorce is final. They are over with a capital O. But Ashley Abbott still can't let it go that Tucker has a different recollection of their final fight than she does. She's certain he was borderline violent, throwing a glass, kicking a chair over, yelling at her. So Tucker told Ashley, go to Paris, ask questions if you don't believe me. So that means one of two things. Either Ashley is really losing it, or Tucker gaslighted her and he bribed the employees at the cafe to tell her none of it happened like she remembered. I mean, it's not like he axe murdered her or anything. So yeah, I could see the waitstaff taking a big payday to tell a few fibs. He didn't hurt her. He didn't hit her. He just kind of had a tantrum. Would they lie about it? Probably. Yeah. Of course, Ashley thinks she needs to know for her peace of mind, but she also she just needs to forget Tucker. Not forgive him, just forget him. But she can't do either one. I think she's still hot for him. And I think she's still trying to understand where things went wrong. And she wants to think it's all his fault and not her fault. That's what I think is going on. Tucker's lashing out. He hates her for choosing her family over him, which is how he sees it. And he wanted to hurt her. So I do think he set her up in Paris. You know, I think he did have the tantrum that she thought. And then I think he went back to clean it up and paid people off. But I also think Traci Abbott might help Ashley sort it out, but while they're gone to Europe, Tucker's trying to introduce some other European customs back into his life, like French kissing, and he's trying to make it happen with Audra. He keeps telling her she's the one for him. He tells her, Ashley and I are done forever. But Audra thinks Tucker will never get past his fixation on Ashley, that she's the one that got away twice now. I agree with Audra. Remember the other day when Ashley sat down with Audra at the GCAC? It's been, 3 weeks ago maybe. She was talking to Audra about that final fight in Paris with Tucker, and she suggested that Tucker is gaslighting her. Do you remember what Audra said? She said she's never known Tucker to gaslight anyone and said it didn't sound like him. I find that very interesting in hindsight. Either Audra knows what Tucker's done and was covering for him, or the reason Audra doesn't think Tucker gaslights women is because he has so thoroughly gaslit Audra that she's not thinking clearly, Tucker has had Audra as his beck and call girl for years, judging by their age difference and how long it's been implied that they've been around each other. I'm going to guess Tucker hooked up with her not long after she got out of college and was just starting her career in the business world. He made her his protege, and then he took her into his bed, and he taught Audra to be ruthless for sure. I like the way she handled that cover-up story with that musician and his underage taste in girls. And when Audra and Tucker were first in town, she knew he was pursuing Ashley again, but she was still warming his bed. She accepted it. Even when that one day when Ashley stopped by his hotel room and he shoved Audra half naked into the bathroom to hide her, Audra still accepted it. I'm pretty sure Tucker and Audra never stopped banging, even when he was married to Ashley, even when she was betting Kyle. They didn't really show us all of this, but they also never showed really them rejecting the other either. So I just suspect they carried on as usual. Audra pursuing a guy she wants, Tucker pursuing a woman he wants, and Tucker and Audra still shagging, co-conspirators with benefits, that kind of thing. But considering how long ago Tucker got his clutches into Audra, years and years ago, yeah, I definitely think he could have been gaslighting her this whole time, just like he did to Ashley in Paris, I suspect. Tucker has Audra trained to do what he says, and she's finally pushing back and trying to yank the reins out of his hands. But Audra also knows how to get to Tucker's gooey insides. She knows what feeds his ego and where he's vulnerable. And I think that although Tucker's been working Audra for years and playing her, I think she's about to flip the script on him, take him for everything she thinks she's owed after years of unrewarded loyalty. Audra already told Nate Hastings that she wants to take Glaad from Tucker, and she asked Nate to work with her. Of course, he's busy with the family business at Chancellor Winters, so I don't think he's going to walk away from that, but he can totally conspire with Audra on the side after work. That way, no one suspects that they're scheming together. Audra's one of those people to me who seems like she needs a man in her life, in her bed, and a man to plot with. I don't think she is a lone wolf. I don't think she can work alone, just because kind of how Tucker has trained her to be over the years. So with Kyle Abbott dumped, Tucker McCall's her target. She needs someone new as her co-schemer. And judging by Nate's reaction to Tucker's smack talk on the Wednesday episode, I suspect Nate might like to knock Tucker down a peg or two. I mean, Nate also knows Devon Hamilton is no fan of his dad, Tucker's. So maybe Nate thinks he'd be doing his cousin a favor if he and Audra took Tucker's company away from him, and that way he could just slink out of town with his tail between his legs. Of course, I don't think you should ever count Tucker McCall out until he wants to be out. He's tenacious, he's smart, and he does not trust easily. But he does seem to mostly trust Audra. I know he thinks she is up to something right now, but he also thinks he can figure it out and probably deal with it and keep her under control. He's clearly distracted by her beauty and the body, Right now, she's letting Tucker pull her closer again, so he thinks he's the one in the driver's seat of their partnership, their situationship, whatever you want to call it. And I think Tucker might see Audra as his new Ashley, that he can build the woman he wants. He can, mold her and shape her into being what he wants. A beautiful woman he can convince that everything he says is gospel and who will follow him like a lovesick puppy. Clearly, the blinders are off Ashley's eyes. I do wonder if Audra really sees the situation she's in with Tucker clearly. I think Tucker definitely wants Audra to be his new Ashley, but I think Audra is smarter than Ashley in that regard. I doubt Audra will let Tucker drag her along much further. She wants to be free of him, and she wants to take the last thing he has as she walks out the door, and that's Glaad. We'll see how it goes, but Tucker might just have met his match because he trained Audra. He taught her to be his match, and that might come back to bite him in the backside, and I'm here for it. Hey, we'll watch and see what happens, but if you haven't, please click subscribe. Definitely come back soon. Drop your comments. As always, this is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I'm here talking Y&R 7 days a week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.